Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're having a great day and enjoying yourself, getting yourself healthy, keeping active. Here I am back on the water, one of my favorite places. Today happens to be a gorgeous day. The water is very calm, got plenty of sunshine. Hopefully everything's going well in your life. I was just thinking about, all the things to be grateful about. And, you know, a lot that I'll talk about is about, early retiring. Um, but one of the main things in early retirement, at least for myself and maybe for you as well, is to have as active of a lifestyle in retirement as possible. Um, Often people refer to it as the go-go years in retirement. And those are the initial years, um, whether it's early retirement or just, I guess regular retirement, depending on how long you decide to work. And that period of time is that, where you've got the most activity going on. You may be doing hiking, biking, running, climbing, zip lining, traveling, all kind of things, cruising. Those are called the go-go years. That initial period after retirement, where you are really at your probably mental and physical best. And that period of time, um, who knows how long that's going to last? You know, it could last 6 months, it could last 6 years, it could last 10 years. Who knows? No one knows. Only one person probably knows, and he's not talking. So, but that's what I want to talk about is this first phase, or the go-go phase of retirement, where you're really at your best. You're doing what you want, when you want, where you want, and for as long as you want. And I want to make that period of my retirement, and hopefully yours as well, the longest and most productive. And when I mean productive, or what I mean when I talk about productive, I mean, you know, you can do what you want. You know, if it's, going on a um, European hike, you know, over the Alps, um, you can do it. If you're in, good enough shape, um, then all the best. But you decide on what that is. What those challenges are going to be in those initial years of retirement, also known as the go-go years. Um, and like I said, I want to have 10 years plus of those go-go years. I know I'm starting out late compared to some. I see a lot of YouTubers that started their retirement journey, in their late 40s, early 50s, mid 50s. But I'm starting a little bit later. I'm still, relatively young, but not that young. There goes, looks like a crane flying over the lake. Look at that beautiful scene. He's got somewhere to go. So we're out here enjoying the lake together. Um, but like I said, if you want to, you know, hike or bike across Europe, even the U.S., my father actually, in his late 50s, bi- bicycled across the entire U.S. from Seattle, Washington, all the way to Washington, D.C. It took him approximately 40 some days, but he did it. He set his mind to it. and he accomplished his goal of biking across the entire continental U.S. Um, it's something, you know, I'm definitely not up for, at least at this point. Uh, I'm definitely not, I think, in that, good of shape to be able to accomplish that. But, kudos to him for doing that. Um, he really gives me a lot to strive for when it comes to goals and things I want to accomplish. And I owe a lot of that to my father and my mom, too. They're both, incredible people. Unfortunately, my father's no longer, with us. My mom is, but she's still a one of a kind, uh, very independent thinker. Um, what do you call that? She has a individualistic spirit, a free spirit. So both my parents, you know, are incredible. My dad, with his passing, but my mom, she's here and fortunately still in pretty good shape. Um, and talking about these different periods of retirement, I'm looking at the go-go years. Um, Unfortunately, my mom, she's in her mid 80s now. She is more into the no-go years. She's still active. We actually biked a couple months ago, but far as traveling to Europe or Southeast Asia or South America, that's not going to happen. For my mom, um, fortunately, because she is in her mid 80s, she's had a wonderful life. She's done a lot of traveling, incredible person, but she would definitely be considered, to be in her no-go years. And that period for her really, you know, I would say realistically just started probably a couple years ago. Um, Before that, she was very much, I don't remember her really having a slow go. She kind of went from the go go to the no go years. Um, Really, there was no slow go about my mom. Um, my father, on the other hand, he enjoyed his go go years, which lasted for him, even though he retired at 70, he started well before he retired with his active traveling and his lifestyle of being active and doing what he wanted, when he wanted, where he wanted, for as long as he wanted. But his go-go years lasted, I would say 15 years. Um, really up until the point he found out that he had um, cancer. And at that point, that was really just life-changing for him. He was very active before that. And then, unfortunately, um, he'd gotten on chemotherapy. Even though he was very active before chemo, it just really wiped him out. Um, it weakened his immune system so much, it just, beat him down. And unfortunately, was it the cancer or the chemo? And frankly, you know, from my understanding, it was the chemo. Um, it was just probably not the right um, course of action for my father, being that he was already in his um, early 80s. Um, Probably not the right course of action to be on chemo, unfortunately, for him and for us as well, being that he's no longer with us. But he definitely uh, always with me. But as I said, he went from go to no go pretty much overnight. We did do a couple trips uh, in the last 6 months of his life, and a couple trips a couple years before he found out that he had the big C. We went to Alaska on a great cruise on the Inner Passage. It was an amazing time just to being with him. Um, he'd been there before, but it's something he wanted to. It's beautiful out there. Like I was saying, it's something he wanted me to experience as well, and thankfully I had that. Sorry, I don't mean to get choked up there, but you know, like I was saying, you want to get the most out of the time you have. In any stage, especially the go-go years. You know, you may have some slow go, and then you'll have some no-go years, but you just want to get the most out of the time you have, and don't take it for granted that you know you'll have opportunities in the future. So that's all I really wanted to say. Let's close out looking at this amazing view. Sun's going to be sitting here shortly. There's some other kayakers out there in the middle of the lake. Beautiful evening. Hopefully you'll have a great day ahead, and be back here shortly, and hopefully you'll join me. And as always, if you have any comments, anything you'd like to share, any suggestions, please share them in the comments. Um, kind of let me know what's on your mind, um, what kind of victories or struggles you've had in planning for early retirement or being in retirement. Anything you want to share, you know, I appreciate it. You know, others will as well. So until the next time, be safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care.